And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
We're not fading away at all. We're back, Rouser Radio, out of the White Hart Hotel in Lewes, East Sussex. Oh, everything was in pristine condition this morning as I came in from the lovely Jane. If you really want a wonderful greeting and a wonderful smile, drop by the White Hart Hotel.
Okay, just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby, have a taste. All the highs and the lows.
This is Rouser Radio, out of the White Hart. It is 7:31 and it's the first day of September. Autumn is closing in. The year 2022. The year that many of us have told
We'll choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
It's going to reach 25 degrees today, a degree warmer than yesterday, and we're going to have scattered cloud again and a mild breeze. Watch out for that mild breeze. I don't trust that sometimes. Has a wonderful time with my hand sending it tumbling down the road.
I need help, I'm going through hell. I fake like I'm fine, but I know you can't tell. Like nothing I felt, my mind overwhelms. I think that I'm broken, but I hope you can't help. I know I'm not perfect, but some days I feel far more worthless. Baby, you make me feel nervous. If I still have you, I have purpose. It's all worth it.
And a very good morning from Lewes in East Sussex. This is part of the greatest little broadcaster in the world, Rouser Radio and Mirador Television. And here we are plugging away, keeping going, because we are the future of the media. That's what the experts say. So we're not going to give up and pack our bags and steal into the night. No siree. We are here to stay. And this morning, a couple of things. First of all, in one of the papers, there is an article about the average British family as we knew it, say 10 or 15 years ago, or certainly in the last century, has disappeared. 50% of children don't grow up that way at all. And that's why I suppose when we see the kids pouring out of school and they behave in what we would consider to be a very rude and undisciplined way, is because they don't know any better. And me saying don't know any better shows that when I say I've got no bias, I have got a bias. I long for the disciplined society of the past. As you know, how is that society, how is our present society going to handle the crises which they've created? Let's blame the government by all means. But also, it's our society that's created it because we wanted too much too soon. And what's happened is society has collapsed, and the rich, who always manage it this way, get richer, and the rest of us take a tumble. I mean, I suppose the lesson is get rich quick. But then again, that isn't what life is all about, and anyway, it would be an almost impossible situation. We could all get poor, we could embrace something like communism or some of the other socialist principles. We could all get poor. That's a great level, isn't it? But getting rich is that's something else. That takes a bit more doing. So that's the situation this morning when we are uh, at the crossroads of our society. Everything is thrown up into the air. We get in the next day or two a new prime minister. Everybody seems to think that it's going to be Liz Truss. I wonder if there is a shock in store because those who actually do the voting are a bit more savvy than those of us who stand on the sidelines and say, ooh, hey, ah, ooh. It could be she's the people's favourite, but is she the favourite of the Conservative Party and of the current batch of MPs? Let's wait and see. But Liz Truss certainly is the front runner, and now people have got used to quoting what she has to say. The only thing is, every time she opens her mouth, there's somebody that says, "No, you can't do that." She's learning what it's like to be prime minister. Dear old Boris, she and Boris, or at least the new prime minister and Boris, are going to break with tradition because of illness, and they are going to fly up to Balmoral to exchange power. It needs the authority of the Queen, and she is in Balmoral. She is not well enough to return to Buck House, not temporarily anyway, and she's going to see her holiday out at Balmoral, and don't blame her. She's a very hard-working monarch. And I have more rows with people about a constitutional monarchy. The royals. First of all, the Queen is undoubtedly one of the best heads of state anywhere in the world. But secondly, our form of government, to forget who is the incumbent, our form of government is the best in the world. It really is the best in the world. Our constitutional monarchy, with only a semi-written constitution, with the levels of government that we have, protect us from the bad guys poking a gun against the temple of somebody and saying, I am now the leader. There are other constitutional monarchies. I think Sweden is one, Denmark is one, possibly the Netherlands is one, and all of them are fairly stable governments. So why don't these people who stamp their feet and have a go at the royals take a little look around the world to see what's successful and what's not, and also take a look at history. Take a look at history, because historically we've had our ups and downs, but our way of governance has survived. It has survived. Shall we play some music? Yeah, right. Well, it's time to get up. It really is. It's 7:38. You're lying in bed this morning. 7:38? Yes, 7:38. You're lying in bed this morning. It's time to get up. So let's go with the Mini Vandals. Down with your get up. will you all get up? The minivan roars. Oh, get up, get up, get up. Right. Time now to take a look at the front pages. This is Rouser Radio out of the White Hart Hotel in Lewes, East Sussex, in the country of the United Kingdom. Dun, dun, dun. Right. Take a sip of coffee. Whoa, yeah, need your hit of caffeine first thing in the morning. Get you going. Oh, wonderful. And brought to me by the delightful Jane. Right, the newspaper headlines or front pages. The Eye, Tories urge Trust to act fast on UK energy hikes. The cost of living crisis features in a number of today's papers. The Eye reports that Tory leadership candidate Liz Truss is under growing pressure from colleagues to deliver immediate help for households and small businesses under the new record rises in gas and electricity bills. The paper says Tory MPs in blue wall seats fear an election wipeout under the new Prime Minister because of the worsening economic crisis and lingering toxicity surrounding Boris Johnson. Ah, nonsense. Boris is still the people's favourite. It just shows they live in Westminster in a bubble. They haven't a clue what's going on. Right, okay, let's go down to The Guardian because it has it takes an extreme. But the picture on its front page is about Ryan Giggs, who could face a retrial after the jury is discharged. I haven't been really following this Ryan Giggs thing. I'm fed up with celebrities hauling themselves before the courts and expecting us all to pay attention. Just another case. And a lot of these people are here today and gone tomorrow. This man was a footballer. He was a good footballer. He had a great following. Full stop. After that, I could care less. But the Guardian is saying children may die if families turn off the heat, warns an expert. Right, they've forgotten before the days that we didn't have central heating, for God's sake. Is what a bunch of wimps we become as a society, egged on by all these experts who tell us dire warnings, we're going to die. No, we're not. It's going to be uncomfortable. It will be uncomfortable. But it's time that we got used to hardship. We have been fat and sassy for far too long. And that has actually cost us decent leadership. It's cost us decent governance. It's cost us developing our society the way that we should. It's cost us our edge in financial services. It's cost us our industrial base. It's cost us so many things because we got fat and sassy and we don't. Oh, my goodness me. I couldn't get my boob job done on the NHS. What is this government coming to? God almighty, I have no idea just how stupid our society is. Anyway, Giggs could face retrial after the jury discharge is sometimes some light relief. The Guardian says health experts say that cold homes will damage children's lungs and brain development and lead to deaths. Oh my goodness me! Why didn't it do that 100 years ago? Why was our golden era 150 years ago? Because when the Romans came to Britain around 400, they brought with them central heating. There are examples of it left. One very fine example at Fishbourne, which is near to Chichester on the south coast, where there is almost a perfectly preserved Roman villa. And we forgot all about them, and we became hardy again, and learned to live without such luxuries as central heating. God, let's stop it. One of the things that a little side issue is that in the 1800s, somewhere around 1840, 1850, In the town of Lewes, which at the time had a population of 9,000, we had 65 pubs and 17, 18 breweries. And what was the reason for that? Is because two reasons. One, the water was poisonous. You couldn't drink the water, so everybody had to go to the pub. Even the children had a type of beer made for them. But secondly, the houses in 1850 or so were notoriously loose-bricked and very cold and breezy, and whole families would go to the pub to join other families and keep warm. That was the situation then. What are we doing talking about now? Oh, their brain isn't going to develop. Oh, for God's sake, give me strength on these experts. Actually, getting their tiny little asses cold for a little while might be the best thing to shock them into an awareness that everything isn't computer games up in their room. And when they want a pair of trainers, pumps, we call them, pumps, which cost 2 and 6pence. And now the kids can't do without them unless they cost a couple of hundred or so. Crazy, 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 crazy. We've got everything out of kilter. But if that stops, these poor little mites are going to lack brain development. God almighty. A respiratory consultant at Liverpool's Alderhay Children's Hospital said he had no doubt that cold homes would cost children lives. But he couldn't predict how many. All he needs, it's like we have a white Christmas if there's one snowflake that falls. All he needs is one, and he can say, "There, told you so." How crazy have we become? How crazy is our society? And perhaps all these crises are going to bring us back to some sort of realization that life isn't full of computer games and expensive trainers. And I want. The Daily Mirror, well, it goes, gigs, trial collapses, the cost of living crisis. 3 million more to fall into the poverty trap. Spiraling bills and price rises will see 14 million in financial hardship. Well, it's only because we create the financial hardship. First of all, I would halve the charges that the banks say. Lloyd's Bank made 8 billion profit last year. 8 billion. And that's after shutting down ATMs in villages, reducing the number of branches that they have, reducing the number of people in branches. And as for branches, why keep them anyway? Because nobody there can make any decision whatsoever. It all has to go up to the computer to see what the computer is going to do. No wonder it made 8 billion profit. And yet here we are saying fall into the poverty trap. Well, let's halve the outrageous interest rates that the banks charge. And not only that, if you don't meet things, they charge you a fine of £12. Where did that one come from? No, governments don't look at the financial sector because they're scared silly of it. And really, that's part of the reason is we've got people in Westminster who haven't a clue what's going on outside the Westminster bubble. And anyway, even if they did, they would be powerless because of their fear of losing their jobs or losing their power. And they won't do anything about it. Wouldn't surprise me if we don't get shut down. Never mind. By the way, through this ranting, just so you know, it's 7:50, in case you need to get up and you are listening. All right, the Daily Telegraph. So, yeah, I didn't actually go the whole hog. The Daily Mirror. Soaring inflation and energy bills will plunge 3 million more people into poverty, the Daily Mirror reports. The paper says spiralling bills and price rises will see 14 million people in financial hardship. What is financial hardship? I go into my local paper shop, and I'm behind people who are busy buying multiple tickets for the national lottery. They are wearing these expensive trainers. Their children, when they're with them, are playing expensive computer games. Yeah, they're in the poverty trap. Just what is a poverty trap? I find it difficult to pay my bills, but I'm always getting into trouble, partly because I'm disorganized. But we have lost any sense of setting standards, the measurements by which we can say people are in poverty. We've lost all sorts of standards, and it's a bit naughty. The Daily Telegraph. Truss hints she may axe motorway speed limits. Oh, duty. The Tory leadership candidate said she is willing to look at making motorway speed limits advisory. Miss Truss told party members at the final hustings in Wembley, North London, yesterday that she is prepared to look at introducing a German-style system of motorways with no speed limits. Wow, I didn't know that. I knew that you could go quite fast on continental motorways, but I didn't know that the Germans didn't have speed limits. Well, whoop-de-doo. The Financial Times. German factories halt output after Russia's alarming squeeze on gas. Now, 6 months plus ago, when Russia invaded Ukraine, everybody expected it to be very quick. Russia, the mighty Russian bear, was going to go over the borders, and boy, it would be, morning Max, it would be just absolutely very simple to take over Ukraine. Well, it turned out not to be that way. But we all gaily said, embargoes, we're not going to deal with the Russians. And what the Russians are now saying is, well, we're not going to deal with you. And what is the result? Right? The headline in the Financial Times. German factories halt output after Russia's alarming squeeze on gas. And that's affecting everybody. We were so bloody brave. Instead of standing up to the Russian bear with a couple of tanks and saying, take not one step further, oh, no, we'll do it the civilized way. Well, it's come back and it's biting us in the ass. That's what it's doing. And we've only got ourselves once again to blame. The Daily Express. Resting Queen won't risk greeting the new PM in London. Well, this is a story about whoever, whether it's Liz Truss or Rishi Sunak, will have to go to Balmoral in Scotland to be greeted by the Queen and to have their power as Prime Minister satisfactorily transferred from Boris to whoever is the leader, Truss or Sunak. And the fact is that the monarch is feeling her age. He's 96, for God's sake. Whoops. Max has come in and he's knocking the whole bloody place to pieces. All over the place he is this morning. I suspect he's probably got somebody else's motorbike and came in like Toad Hall. Wow.
This morning on my way to the bus stop, I got stung by a wasp.
Oh no!
Right on the back, on the shoulder blade. So it's been hurting all day, and I haven't even been able to touch it.
Oh dear! Are you allergic to wasp stings?
Oh well, I found out.
Yeah, no. If the allergy hasn't hit now, you're not. But you're quite right. a wasp sting is a very uncomfortable thing to have. I mean, the venom is pretty fierce. Yeah.
I tried my wasp a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, I bet. Right. Okay. So, our dear new Prime Minister has got to be inconvenienced by going to Scotland to be sworn in. Anyway, whoop-de-doo. The Metro. Ryan Giggs trial jury split. Who cares? Oh, I suppose some of you care. I better tell you what it's all about. Ryan Giggs, the footballer, is in court on charge of assaulting his former partner and her sister, having a go at her sister as well. And a jury failed to reach a verdict in the present trial. So the paper says his head dropped in the dock, and Judge Hilary Manley told him she had given Crown prosecutors a week to consider pressing for a retrial. So he'll know whether he's got to go through it all again. The only people that are really going to worry about it is the Mirror and the Sun. The Sun also has led on its front page. After a 17-day trial, 23 hours of deliberations, and at vast cost, the trial collapses. Giggs, the jury's out. Give me strength. Give me strength. The Times. Decline of traditional UK family revealed. Yeah, that was the one that I started off with. And I'm not a bit surprised. And you see the behaviour of kids today on the street, and it makes you shake your head. It makes you shake your head. Nearly half of British children now grow up outside the traditional two-parent household, according to a report on the makeup of the modern family. The paper also shows the photographs of Boris Johnson, who took part in a drug raid in London to the bewilderment of residents in his farewell tour. Yeah, can you imagine? You look out of your window and you see Boris with a couple of coppers bearing down on the next door neighbour, bashing his door in just to see whether he's trading drugs. The mind boggles. Absolutely wonderful. Quite the way to go out, Boris. Quite the way to go out. You're a colourful guy, and I, in a funny sort of way, I'm one of your fans. But to go out with that sort of blast is terrific. Right, the Daily Mail. How could they give my son to my deceitful neighbour? A mother's despair as social workers and courts let a manipulative ex-murder suspect take custody of her toddler with bogus foster deal that they failed to check. Not a bit surprised. The paper reports that a former murder suspect won custody of a neighbour's toddler by duping social workers. The paper says police turned up at the mother's home and took her son after the courts rubber-stamped a foster agreement with her forged signature. The paper also describes an historic first alongside a photograph of the Queen, who will appoint the new Prime Minister at Balmoral. But this business of social services and children being taken away and the huge power that they seem to have is... I have personal experience, not me, not my family, but on Mirador Television, I do from time to time a series called Mad, which examines how we handle our our mental illnesses through the local councils and through the social services, and it's scandalous. So I'm not a bit surprised that this still happens. Nobody wants reform. Reform, the dirtiest word in the calendar as far as politicians are concerned. It's now 7:59. It's about to turn to 8 o'clock. Time to get up. 8 o'clock on the first day of September 2022. Oh, let's finish off with the Daily Star. It is a naughty paper, but it brings a smile to my lips. It says a seaman forgets to grease his shaft. And it says that a $3 billion Royal Navy warship has broken down because someone forgot to grease its huge propeller shaft. Seaman forgets to grease his shaft. Oh, dearie, dearie, dearie me. What shall we do? Oh, go on. Let's have a kind of a party with the mini vandals. The mini vandals with kind of a party. It's not going to feel as if it's the morning that we should have a party, but what the heck? Let's meet this new day with a brave face. Hey, wait. Can I just take a look at the back pages for a moment? Max, thank you. Um, yeah, we've gone through the front pages of the paper. Oh, here we go. Actually, though, I suppose it is interesting that the football scene has produced lots of goals in this opening period. And if that keeps up, it'll start to make it a much more interesting game. I don't want to watch something 1-1, in which the ball is punted backwards and forwards and everybody blanks out any attack from the opposition. It was Manchester City last night who beat Nottingham Forest 6-0. And then they go on for other matches that were played last night. Unfortunately, my dear Aston Villa lost 2-1 to Arsenal, and dear old Steven Gerrard is under the gun. Hopefully, the people who own the club and who are hired him will give him some space, because he's got the players. He's just got to find the magic. Right, okay. Joyless Emma must go back to basics. Dear. The US Open. Raducanu got locked out in the first round. Oh, dear. So all our heroes are taking a tumble, just like the country. Ho, ho, ho. Not much to. Andy Murray is still in it. Oh yes, Andy Murray dominates to race into the third round. Whee! And what about the business pages? City regulators hit by furious backlash after a 6-year probe into the near collapse of HBOS lets bankers off scot-free. I'm not a bit surprised. The regulators are scared silly of these people, because the amount of money that sloshes through the City of London in a day is far more than the total worth of the economy for a good many small countries. They're scared silly. Towering cost of debt sinks property shares. I'm not a bit surprised, and nobody is looking at that. The cost of borrowing. Oh no, let them make £8 billion profit last year. Oh, are they usuring? No, they're not. No, 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 no. There's some reason. If it's the water company, different kettle of fish. Buy now, pay later giant Klarna sees losses quadruple. What does Klarna do? The Swedish company, which at one time was Europe's most valuable private tech firm, reported a mammoth loss of 502 million. Woo! There we go. Everybody is in trouble. Everybody is in trouble. Well, actually, it makes you think we've got to look at our system, but nobody dares do it. That's what Mikhail Gorbachev did to the Soviet system. He took a very close look at it and said, not fit for purpose, it's not going to work. And most Russians think that he was a dreadful man. He's one of my heroes, actually, Mikhail Gorbachev, but that's for another day. But he reformed, and that's what we need, reformers. A little while ago, 6 months or so ago, I actually interviewed the mayor of New Haven, and I said to her, she's quite young, I said to her about reform, and she said, political reform will not come in my lifetime, and she meant her. And she'd got another 50 years or 60 years of life left in her, more than I have. Although I suppose the thing is, thank God you can't see me at this particular stage, because I do have a strong voice, and everybody thinks that I'm about 22 or 23. But then you listen to my views, and you know very well that that's not. Mind you, young Max sometimes strikes a chord with me, and he's only 18. 18?
Mhm.
Yeah, only 18. What's he going to do this morning? Well, Mirador Television takes over in about 20 minutes, and this broadcast, this Rouser radio broadcast, is going to end in about 12 minutes. And Max has got with him later on in the morning Liza Page. Now, Liza is a delightful lady. Two things. First of all, she has done some magnificent interviews with, just as an example, is the survivors of the Holocaust. Actually, the last two survivors of the Holocaust. And she has a program called Everybody's Got a Story. She also has some very, very fierce views about what's happening to our society. Some of them I go along with, some of them I don't. But she has the right to be heard. And she's going to be on with Max at somewhere around 9:30 this morning. So probably it is worth you tuning in to Mirador Television around somewhere around 9:30 and hear Max and Eliza. Well, Max and Stuart is bad enough. Boy, those two at one another's throats. It's very good. It's very entertaining. But this looks could kill. The two of them throw daggers at one another time to time. But there's mutual respect there, and that's what it's all about. You don't have to be liked, but be respected. All right, so that's coming up in a little while. It's now 9 minutes past 8 on the 1st of September 2022. Outside, it's going to reach 25 degrees today. That's 1 degree warmer than yesterday. Scattered cloud and a moderate breeze. And as I said, watch out for that moderate breeze. I wear a trilby, and even the most moderate of breezes sometimes can flip under the lid of it or the rim of it and send it tumbling down the street. So if you wear those sort of hats, do be careful, because even a modest breeze can send you scattering after your hat, which often is rescued by somebody 100 yards ahead. All right, let's say 8:10. We've got to sort of play. Let's see. I haven't played Zula for a little while. I can't remember what it's about. Let's play it. Right, okay. Okay, Zula and the mini animals. It's just a classic thing, isn't it? But perhaps right for this time of the morning. No, it's not. Get up, get up, get up. It is now 8:13. So let us just very quickly run through the headlines once again before we say goodbye. And the start off is with the eye, and the Tories are urging trusts to act fast on UK energy hikes. The Guardian: children may die if families turn off the heat, warn experts. Get a hot water bottle. Mirror: the 3 million more to fall into the poverty trap. The Daily Telegraph: trust hints she may axe motorway speed limits. Wow, that's branching off in a different direction. The Financial Times: German factories halt output after Russia's alarming squeeze on gas. And the Daily Express: resting Queen won't risk greeting the new PM in London. Metro: Ryan Giggs trial jury is split. The Sun: the same thing more or less. Giggs, the jury is out. The Times: the decline of the traditional UK family. The Daily Mail: how could they give my son to my deceitful neighbour? And the Star, the wonderful Star, which ends off, as it usually does, is a seaman forgets to grease his shaft. And what the story is about is one of our aircraft carriers keeps breaking down because the axle between the propeller and the engines wasn't properly oiled. I do find that amusing. I do. So I should. It's 8:14. I've got to say goodbye. So toodle pip, and let's just find our intro and extra music from Nefex. As you fade away, and here I go. It's 8:15 now on the first day of September in the year 2022. Toodle pip, I'll see you in a little while on Mirador Television, and then it'll be down to the Max, who is going to have as guest Liza Page this morning. There we go. Toodles.
You're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, 'cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong.